The royal funeral draws ever closer. 5 days remain.
We've got a long day ahead of us. As we start with some small talk, Grius seems to somewhat know what my new power is, even if it's very loosely, saying it's found in those who walk a righteous path. And of course that he's still suspicious of Strhol, which understandable, but for now, he's gonna play nice as we've made our preparations and going to Nord Mines.
That its proximity to the capital simplified crystal excavation, but the Sanctus Church's sudden proclamation of closure exiting the forest, the party continues along the wooded road leading to the derelict mine.
As we're moving closer and closer to the mine, Strhol has a hunch, thinking we're being followed. It's possible, honestly, but Grius thinks it's just an excuse, and he's gonna make a runner, but we'll just have to wait and see as we find our way to the mine's entrance. But it looked like Strhol was right as we were ambushed by some guards, but we made quick work of them, but that does mean we're being pursued. I wonder how they knew we were coming. I doubt it was Strhol, probably just a human cover-up. Regardless, we're gonna see more of them as we're now in the mines. But it might have been a bad choice, as we're now trapped, with only one way out, as the other side is barricaded with soldiers, so we're just gonna have to fight forward. Something quite easy, as these troopers are inexperienced, even more than me, and go down in seconds. But on our travels, we see an innocent miner dying, being used as a bargaining chip. Either we surrender or more die. This enrages Strhol, but I know we must keep going despite the bloodshed. We're face to face with the fat man, Captain Klinger. Strhol was expecting him since he wasn't at the fort and would have survived. He's surprised we survived as Strhol is enraged at the whole thing, using people as bait for the humans, but Klinger says it how it is. The kingdom's guard are powerless against a might of a human, and only a mountain of bodies will show the public, which is just an utterly sickening waste of precious life. But from their interaction, they seem to have a past, or at least Strhol knows Klinger's misdeeds, which he does.
7 years ago, the first Flames Day of June, a village in the northern hills was razed to the ground. A village called Harlia.
Oh, yes, that might have been a name.
Then you made a fatal mistake, Klinger. You left one survivor!
Stay back!
Help me!
You played right into our hands, you know. This was the only road without checkpoints. A simple deduction.
You're a disgrace to your title. I may not make it out alive, but as for you, you're hopeless!
O thou who art seared with bitterness, O thou anguished traveler, it is time for thou to choose thy path. O lodestar, whose light reveals the king's own path, awaken.
What?
What the? Oh, no! I can't fail Lord Luis. Without him, I've got nothing left. You struggle in vain. I won't let you rob me of my glory! This is the way of the real world, little lordling!
You call this real? Leaders abandon their people and the innocent die by their scorn. If that's the real world, then it can die alongside you! My name is Leon Strhol de Haliatus. My home and my family were taken from me. I am the last of my house. I am the last of my noble bloodline. And in the name of my people, I will strike you down where you stand! I will show you a world with honor!
What is this?
Wait, he's got power like yours now? Well, better show him how to use it!
I don't know what you think you're doing, but I'll not cave to an empty threat like that! This igniter's all I need to turn you to ash! You lot, get to it! Cover me!
So he scampers off to protect himself, and his subordinates get to be his living shields. The man's showing his true colors. I'll fix the filthy coward with the end he deserved.
The igniter's powerful, but it takes care and calculation to wield. If you sense danger, steel your defenses and endure it.
The captain was a joke, both as a man and as a fight, using guards to protect him, which fall fast. He did keep up for a while, but he still went down handily. I still don't know how someone like him was able to become a captain. He can't lead something, even if it killed him, which Grius gets the finishing blow.
Luis!
With the captain down and out, we're left to look at the end result. Strhol is shocked at his power, asking how he could do that without an igniter. Grius is just baffled, asking who we truly are, which is when Strhol opens up. He's Leon Strhol, just a fallen noble from the countryside. Klinger mentioned a village that was raised by a human. It was his village. It was Halia. And now he knows what happened. He's reinvigorated, wishing to be not an ally of convenience anymore. Grius, being the guy he is, just says that it was too much trouble keeping an eye on him. And I personally say how I feel. Strhol is a brother to me. That makes him flustered, but with a handshake, a bond is formed. Gallica started to wonder about Strhol's archetype, thinking it awakened soon after mine, wondering what it all means, as suddenly...
Huh? Wait, what?
I'm back at Academia once more, as Moore wishes me well, and this time Gallica followed us. He's shocked, thinking fairies were long extinct, asking if they took refuge in the Elden Sanctum. He remarks at Strhol's new power, asking me if I remember when he said archetypes are the original form of magic. I pretend I remember that. He continues saying, we mortals suffer under the weight of our own burdens, but when we face that anxiety and make it our power, we find freedom. And those who overcome those hardships and embody the virtues of within are passed down as heroic tales. Strhol's awakening was tied to me. He awakened to the archetype that protects me. That's when Gallica tries to protect me for some reason, but due to that, Moore sees our bond, which she agrees with, and I do as well, which leads to another archetype, which shocks Gallica as Moore is just fascinated by it all, asking if I understand what happened with me connecting with others who found their resolve. I've awakened to a new strength, and I can share that strength. Moore telling me I can share it with Grius if I desired it. Moore is unsure, however, if it's the archetype or me that is doing it, but he calls me remarkable, adding for me to seek the answers. But now we get a small tutorial on how it all works, and with that done and a kitty pat, we're back to the real world. But in the real world, we were just standing there like zombies. Or at least that's how Strhol worded it out. But I gave them a quick talk about what I've learnt. Grius is just floored, asking who I am, really. But we don't have time to talk, as there's 5 days left until the funeral, and times are wasting. Sadly, Klinger got away. I'm shocked he was able to run that fast. I guess looks can be deceiving. Anyways, we head deeper into the mines. More creatures that lurk these areas, slimes and snakes and all sorts of things. Nothing we can't handle. But deeper inside the cave, we found a door with an ominous black fog seeping from under. We enter inside and we see a mysterious crystal. Apparently, it's a crystal of pure magla, and next to it, it's a human. At least it wasn't disgusting looking. Just odd, as it's protecting the crystal and attacks us. I wasn't ready for this boss, admittedly. I'm still getting used to Metaphor's gameplay, and I didn't expect the boss to have a concentrate spell, but also to test the player's knowledge on using front and back row. I was left to do a small bit of grinding. I knew it was weak to ice, but I had to be able to fight it quick and have minimal casualties. Thankfully, it always attacked the front, so with Strhol as bait, our plan started to form, but it was still a slog. I had an item to decrease its defense, and giving Mikoto the mage archetype for that added ice oomph. but it was still a hard-fought battle, but Makoto finished it off with its one weakness.
Heal him! Me!
With the human threat cleared, we're left with the swirling crystal. Gallica wonders what it is, but like she said, if the humans like it, it's no good, as I destroy it. And with that, we kept going forwards. It was quite a crazy end of the cave though, not only a sleeping dragon, but some sneaking to not awaken the beast, and to wrap all the crazy stuff that's happened, we ran for our lives out of there. With our escape from the mines, a storm is there to welcome us, which means that our trip is over for today. We'll set up camp and get a carriage, which just like Gallica, I'm super excited for as night came. We're all sitting around the campfire as Strhol opens up more about his past, and talks about the incident 7 years ago. And I'd be honest and say that his parents were true heroes. And I can now see why Strhol is the way he is. But that's not the only person opening up tonight, as Gallica believes Guria should tell Strhol about the prince. Although the sword I used was to confirm I was the messenger, the sword was originally the Highness's. He started to talk more about the prince, things I can see him doing. He was a free spirit, but then 12 years ago, on a night raining just like this one.
Your Highness, this way! Hurl these blackguards into the palace!
My lord, are you hurt?
Back! A royal knight. A wench and nothing more.
You knave! You know nothing of true knighthood. I pledged my life to the prince, and I'll not lose it to you! Highness!
Don't falter, give chase!
Stop! They dare harm him!
With Grius finishing the story, he completes it by saying, regardless of all the healers in the capital, no one could save him. We may have a hope in curing him, but Lewis will not give that up, which means the ultimate option, to kill the caster to stop the curse. Strhol asks Grius if it's true that Lewis killed him, and he is positive, seeing him in the fray, but he was much younger, and for the Highness and the King to kill him is to see justice served. With that story told, Strhol asks me if the mission means a lot to me, and of course it does. Me and the prince are best friends. Strhol is shocked at the weight I carry. It's much greater than he realized, but he owes us his life, and for us to save the country together. Something I wholeheartedly agree, as the night came to an end. However, it seems more wants, well, more from us, confirming a theory that his connection to us is stronger when I'm asleep, adding his happiness for my magic prowess is improving. He continues to talk about the power, adding the more supporters that stand beside me, the stronger it'll become, and it will soar to new heights. Gallica is left confused as Moore continues that each archetype has their own strengths and weaknesses, and will have little use if they're used thoughtlessly. You can lose your life in seconds on the battlefield. Adding, if I'm unsure how to proceed, he recommends we stop and think, as the smallest observation is often great inspiration. And with those final words, he wishes us well, as the dawn is soon approaching.